Hello, Nick here from the Pulling Teeth podcast. I'm wearing a sweater. Listen, there's some weird audio issues this week, partly because I was recording in a weird setting, and partly because the computers in my house were going absolutely mental, so there's fans going off and stuff like that. So if you do hear some weird background noise, it's our end, not yours. It should be resolved for next week, but thought I'd give you a shout. Enjoy the show. You didn't start the fire, but the world's been turning.
Yeah, I can't remember the rest of the words, but vague reference to something
Aquaman.
That neither of us know that well.
So yeah, how are you?
All right. Yeah.
All
right as usual. Yeah, everything's fine.
Right.
Still working. Still moving on. Still, I don't know what you want from me at this point.
You're still moving on.
Still,
leaving all your past
keep
behind.
on trucking.
No more lasagna.
No
more.
No.
I've been having weird craving for lasagna. My oven's packed up, and I've never cooked lasagna. I've had microwave lasagna, but that's like soup, isn't it?
Oh, if you can make a bolognese, like lasagna's piss simple.
Oh yeah, it's not like I haven't been intimidated by it, Steve. It's just not been on my.
No, but it just seems weird. I don't know, like. So, like, if I make a bolognese, I always make tons of it. So it's weird for me to not have tried something that's just using a bolognese mix, just because I'll use it for the rest of the week, and like, so you'll end up having lasagna at some point just to use it up.
I just don't really do pasta, really.
Right. See, I was never much of a pasta guy, but Vix fucking loves it. So
nothing to blame on your wife.
Got me into eating it more. It's definitely not my favourite carb. What's your favourite carb?
What is your favourite carb?
Probably potatoes.
Potato. Oh, what a lovely little potato. You can grow a potato. You can nurture it. You can raise it. I don't know what a favourite carb is. I guess sugar, right?
Sugar's a carb. But like...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I would like
count?
Just from uni, I would probably have said rice for you, just because of the amount that you actually fucking ate it.
Well, pasta was my big thing at uni, wasn't it? I used to eat 10 kilos a week.
I'm just remembering the rice cooker, the steamer. You used to shove just barrels of fucking rice in it. I think that was more when I went down to London.
Yeah,
when you were living in the circus.
Steamer. I had a steamer in Oxford Street, wherever it was. But yeah, pasta was my thing at uni. So I ate so much that I never ate it again. I was just like, no, it's not a good thing for me. So if someone tells me like eat loads of pasta, that's how you bulk up, I then eat all the pasta. And it just doesn't work.
Well, it's not true.
I've got a very disciplined
It's a good way to get fat.
Well, it's in terms of bulking up. Like, you need to eat a ridiculous amount of carbs to keep up with the training.
Yeah.
But I'm blessed and cursed with a disciplined mind, I think. Where it's like, I can focus on something. And it's like, well, if you eat a lot of pasta, I'll eat all the pasta I can possibly fit.
Yeah.
And it's just a big no. I'm big naturally anyway, so just roll with it. So that's your favourite pasta?
My favourite carb.
My favourite carb. New segment. Oh, no. No, yeah. Still, I think sugar for me. I had another doctor's appointment this morning, actually, where I just get phoned up by a doctor. Says, what now?
Oh, is this the same guy, the guy in his house?
Yeah, he wasn't in his house anymore. He now moved up to, I don't know, he's better. He's recovered.
He's in the garden.
His baby's not crying anymore. Is that a good thing? I don't know. But yeah, he gave me a ring today, and got to go for a load of blood tests and stuff like that. But they was asked like, "What's my diet and exercise like?" So, it's pretty boring. They're like, "Oh, do you drink?" It's like, "No, not really." So, it's interesting to meet someone who doesn't drink. So, well, sugar's my drug, and I've done more drinking of sugar than I think any alcoholic's ever done of alcohol. So.
Yeah,
but I'm
I think
clean.
that's fair.
3 days clean or 2 days clean.
A few days clean. But you were clean last time we talked. Had you relapsed?
I was.
Yeah. You relapsed.
Yeah. Always. And it's just one little thing, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah. I think I'll just collapse.
Yeah.
And collapse back into the old. But it's just you're procrastinating away from taking responsibility.
I find it so strange
when there's nothing to do. It's very easy to do.
Like, so I find it pretty pretty easy to relapse from habits of which there's no real consequence of not of doing. But like, but with you for sugar, for example, like I could if I was eating healthy, I can relapse pretty quickly. There's no real consequence to it apart from like maybe I feel a bit crappy about myself. But if I was gonna feel like I was hungover from relapsing for a week, that would be enough to put me off doing it.
But so does that mean that you don't drink anymore?
No, I do, but like
Right.
it's that thought enters in as to a decision as to whether I want to drink or not.
Well, for me, there's no direct correlation between sugar intake and diabetic reaction for me. I don't know whether that's a good sign, but like I can eat a load of sugar and I'll be fine, or I can eat no sugar and I can be terrible.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a big old roll of the dice. Just to kind of see. And when I've been perfect on health and exercise, just mood has affected my my brain, I guess. So it's my whole big bag of mess, you know. No point trying to manage a big bag of mess. Well, there's times where you think, fuck it, I'm just going to indulge. And it's always that weird, it's going to, well, not with sugar, but like, you think it's going to feel bad and then it'll start to feel good, whereas it's just like crack. I've explained it before. If you see a baby drinking a bottle of pure breast milk, it's so happy, right? I have that with cherry Coke.
Yeah.
It's just, my body reacts just to be like, oh my God, so much power.
So
and it's just a big sugar rush.
does it trigger other relapses for you? Like, are you smoking again, for example?
No, but if I was smoking, then I would certainly be drinking sugar.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the other way around, but smoking's like the big, oh yeah, well if you're going to do this, might as well
Smoking's
just
the
ruin
big
everything,
fuck
right?
it.
Yeah. Which, again, is not something that's enjoyable. It's just another one of those weird depressant drugs that you seem to crave from time to time. Same thing with voices in your head. I can't remember whether I talked about it before, but like I've never experienced a monologue voice in my head, but I've noticed a narrative, so like a subconscious narrative ripple through me. So if I have like a deep, dark, sad thought, I'll have a reaction to it, but I won't hear the conscious reaction. It'll just be like, it's really fucked up that you're thinking this.
Yeah, I don't know if
And
we've had this
it's like a
conversation,
feeling.
but like that. Apparently, that's two types of people: the type that have got the voice and the type that haven't.
But I've always thought you don't speak as fast as you think.
No.
So, like, if you do have that spoken in a monologue, either you're imagining it and it's going through very fast, or you're thinking at a speech at the pace that you talk, which is quite slow for me.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's like I kind of relate that back to reading. I've always thought my reading speed is quite slow, but actually my reading speed is about as quickly as I talk. Like, and I've seen people that are like just burning through pages and pages, and I'm just like, if I talk that fast, I can't. Like, I'm not speaking coherent sentences. I'm not thinking about what I'm saying, and conversely, I can't read that fast either because I read as though I'm talking. Like, and
maybe it depends how you use your mind's eye. Like, I think very much in imagery. So when I'm reading a book, I don't necessarily read the words or hear the words. It kind of becomes like a cartoon that's running in my mind. So like I would read at the pace that I see stuff on television. But then television obviously speaks as fast as you speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be run as some kind of cartoon in my mind as opposed to hearing the words really. So maybe it depends on what's your primary interpretation. Maybe it's audio. You hear things more. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, good week. You said working. The voice in your head been stopping you from reading books or something?
No, that was a by the by.
We're about 3 pages into the King James Bible. I don't want to get any further.
Yeah, just tell me you did it. Let's get it over with. Yeah, no.
Well, I think like it's just that's why I got to focus on so many things as well. That's part of the managing multiple different tasks, if they're all very intense, like exercise, I can get really, or in depth is like a really big story that I can kind of dive my mind into. I find lots of energy jumping around, my brain zipping all over the place. But if I'm watching something quite boring or I'm doing something quite slow paced, it feels like I'm just playing badminton with a corpse. Just like a donk, and then slowly, and then what's going on, and then it doesn't. I can't get into it. I get bored by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe corpse badminton is why I think in images. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? So yeah, you were reading the Bible. Go on.
I wasn't.
You weren't?
No.
Jeez, loser.
No Bible reading. How about you? Are you remaining sane?
Vaguely. I'll be honest. As we speak and as we record now, which is Thursday the 7th, there's rumoured to be an announcement coming on Sunday from Mr. Boris.
Yeah.
Saying that they're going to start easing the lockdown measures. And when I first heard it, I was like, oh, this is stupid. Like, it's just stay on lockdown until everything's gone. But there's part of me that's like, the little glimmer of hope that I keep deep down in my pocket. I've just been like, might be able to go for a swim sometime soon.
Yeah, well, to be fair, though, there's a girl that I work with, and she's on... Are you on the serious list?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm not returning the NHS's call.
All right. So you could be, but it's Pandora's box, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's on the serious list, right. And government guidelines have apparently said... our company that's following them have said that anyone on the serious list has got to remain in lockdown until or furloughed or whatever until at least the 30th of June. So it's like another fucking nearly 2 months.
Yeah. I don't think I'm on that serious list.
Yeah.
I'm on a vulnerable list, but not the really vulnerable.
Yeah.
The expendable list. That's what I'm on.
You think anyone will notice? Nah.
His dog's not as hungrier. It seems weird. So yeah, obviously it's going to go down in stages or whatever if it changes at all. Apparently it's because the rumor is apparently been spread because Boris has told friendly newspapers this, but won't confirm nor deny. It's like, what weird political media game do you want to play right now?
I'm only going to tell the friendly papers.
Yeah, which I'm assuming has to be like the Tory-leaning papers or the papers that his family is betrothed to or something like that. And it's just like, well, then why are you waiting till Sunday if you've already told the papers? Well, we haven't told the papers publicly. Okay, well then people are just going to overreact this weekend. It's a bank holiday tomorrow.
Yeah.
People are going to go out and do stuff because they'll be like, well, on Sunday everything's going to be revealed, so everything's okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, still relatively sane, but still got some, definitely still got some cabin fever, and there's part of me that's really looking forward to it being over, even at the prospect of like, oh, it might be mentioned that there might be some unlocking of lockdown going on, but it's going to be boring stuff. It's going to be
the fucking bog roll all over again, though. Like, you're not actually going to be able to do everything because everywhere's going to be full.
Right. As in, like, if they open up the restaurants, they'll be fully booked. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Just don't go to the swimming baths, all right? They're mine. Fuck it, I'll go to the sea. I don't care.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You could do
Wales. That. Don't know. God, I need a bath that's big enough for me to swim in. I need a swimming pool.
I'm surprised you haven't bought like a big inflatable thing, considering you don't really do anything with your garden.
Well, one, I've got a dog, so like
dog
the
would
dog
love
does
it.
exercise in the garden. An expensive inflatable mixed with a playful dog. Let's do it.
It doesn't have to be expensive.
Well, more than 50 quid. Is what I would probably say.
Yeah.
And then management and chlorine plus dog. I don't know. But it's that whole mentality of if I'm going to do it, I'll do it right, and I'll spend £7,000 on a hot tub that needs to be custom built and then managed every week, or month or whatever. I'd be like, no, and in order for me to spend money on it, I've got to fit in it, and it's just like I don't fit in average things just because of height, let alone width. Just like I couldn't relax in your hot tub as much as I would like to relax. For example, it's nice to chill in, but if I wanted to relax, I'd be like, same with massages. I have to get massages from weird crime-ridden family, mafia Thai places, in order to feel anything in my life. So. Yeah, and in order to relax, I need a level of intensity that requires a large budget and a plan. Relax! We need funding for this. We need to do something. But I decided that's what I would do if when lockdown was over, is go away on like a health spa thing.
Yeah.
That's what I would prefer.
Yeah.
But as you say, could be
help out the economy.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to pay for it as opposed to going to the beach.
Yeah, but I'm still been working and paying income tax and all that shit.
Yeah.
Always helping, never stopping.
Mm.
But yeah, so yeah, given this lockdown, given that I'd say we're probably halfway through, if this is the start where it's going to start easing down, maybe, would you go through this whole event again next year? Idris Elba wants to.
Why?
Just for memories.
I'm nostalgic about that time we couldn't fucking do anything.
All those people died.
It's like being nostalgic about the Great Depression. Like,
it's a good time.
This is great. Can't afford anything. Can't get any carrots.
Started trying to eat seasonally, which is the whole thing. I think he said he wanted to do like a week every year where they just lived in lockdown because a lot of people have seen this as a good thing, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen this as a good thing, but it doesn't mean it is. It just
I
means
understand
that something has happened.
that. In the same sense that I understand people who take like technology breaks. Like they'll put their phone down for a month or something like that. Like I get it. I don't know why you'd lock yourself in your house for that long. Like I don't think really like mentally there's anything beneficial from it. Like why not just go away somewhere remote with your family? Like particularly if you're Idris Elba and you can afford to.
Especially if you're
why just lock yourself in your house? It doesn't make sense.
Well, I think it's like close the country for a week. It's like, to slow down or whatever.
Damage the economy permanently for a week every year.
Yeah, it'll pick up on either side, would it? Be fine. But given that Idris Elba wants to do it, is this something that the lockdown whole thing's been advantageous? Have you seen any benefits? Would you do it again?
To be honest, no. Like, because my working life and everything hasn't really changed. And before that, the only time I really left the house was to work. Like, we go to the pub, like, maybe once a week, maybe every other week or something like that. But we didn't really eat out much. Like, it hasn't really changed things socially, aside from the fact that if I want to see people, I can't. But...
Yeah, I guess you said it before, and I've always kind of, I guess, assumed that you were more, human. But you're not very sociable at all, we'll put it that way. If you're saying, like, you used to go out, like, once a week, and now with the lockdown, it's like, oh, once a week, once a fortnight, that's not
I'm a social camel.
Not really a thing.
I get my fill, and then I'm happy.
Okay. I guess I'm just... even though I'm quite... inside, I'd still go out quite a lot. I guess something I've always put it aside to is I'm very antisocial, but I'm a very social person deep down. I'd make friends with my neighbours maybe if I wasn't in such a horrible mood all the time.
I think it's I've got no problem being social. I just don't yearn for it. Like if someone suggests something, like I'll happily do something every day or every other day or what the fuck ever. But like if that opportunity doesn't come about, like it doesn't make me sort of like start to itch and feel like I'm missing out or that I need to go and see people or anything. Like I don't know. I don't have that thirst. I'm very comfortable alone.
And I guess if you think about that from uni, I'd be active every day and would usually try and invite you out to things that you would come out to, but you'd just as happily stay at home alone or whatever.
And it's not that I'm uncomfortable around people. I'm not that kind of like introvert. I think I'm a perfectly acceptably social person when I'm about. Shut up. But like I don't.
Go to this pub that's too loud for human ears.
The thing is, like, I don't like calling myself an introvert because I think I'm a perfectly acceptable level of social when I'm out. Like I don't think I seem awkward or like uncomfortable most of the time. Like, which I think is traditionally what you think of an introvert as being. like you're around a lot of people and you're not comfortable. Like I'm not like that. I think I'm perfectly happy being alone, and I'm perfectly functional amongst other people as well. I think. But then,
I think I don't know. Well, I think what I'm saying is that if you're not a particularly social person, and then suddenly loads of social restrictions are put down upon you, it's not going to affect you that much.
Yeah.
And there is a whole other thing. I mean, I think. Do you? I've been pushing the line a little bit forward each week. But do you love your wife? I mean,
yes. Well, that I was going to say that's the caveat in that I don't. Every sort of like bit of that social thing that could possibly pop up where I'm like, I really could do with talking to someone. Like, I live with my best friend. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Yeah. I don't. So maybe that hasn't had a chance to kind of start getting to me.
I think, like I said before, the biggest thing for me has been energy release. I think I've already got quite a high level of energy that I need to get out anyway, just from years of trauma and rage. But like you don't realize where that energy gets expended. Obviously, when I come around your house now, there's a little bit more understanding of this is why I ridicule your collection of porcelain statues or whatever. This is why I'm confused why you've got like a little packet of pepper that you don't put in a fucking pepper thing. I don't know what it is, right?
What?
But there's energy that gets expended.
Yeah.
In those little violent bits of rage. Same as driving around, yelling at people, burying people in unmarked graves, all that kind of stuff. But you don't really realise where it comes out. And I think conversation is a huge subconscious way. Because like energy doesn't have to be like violent, aggressive conversation, but just getting energy out that way, I think is something that I didn't realise before. Like, it's a way of like managing yourself. So the fact that you're with somebody that you're already intimate with on an emotional level, you've still got that valve to converse, socialise, to kind of have that with. So yeah.
And I'm still going to work in which I see people every day. Yeah,
that's true. I've got a few friends who are furloughed and they don't work from home, and they're like, even just working in an office is like an office that maybe they don't usually like. It would just be nice to be around people again. And I think that's a big thing. I don't think like eating in a restaurant, although there's a weird thinking of like, I wonder what it's going to be like when you next go to a restaurant and it's busy. Oh, did you hear about the cinemas? Odeon cinemas?
No.
I had it marked as an article last week, but I forgot about it. I think it's Odeon, but one of the large cinema in the UK have banned all, I think, Universal Studios films from ever being shown in their cinemas anymore. I should look that up, really. But yeah, so because all these film premieres are being postponed and pushed back and all that, the film production houses have said they're going to start streaming it to people directly to their homes, completely cutting out the cinemas in the middle. And they're saying, oh, we'll still have it for the cinemas, but we'll also give it to people at home. And I think it was Odeon, they've said like, oh, no, fuck you, that completely ruins our entire business model. So I'm not going to do that.
Well, don't have a business model that relies on other people making your shit for you then.
Yeah, but that's kind of just how it is. It's Cineworld and Odeon with regards to Universal. Just looked it up.
I don't know. I think they should have seen it coming, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, particularly as people's home cinemas have gotten to the point now where they're just ridiculously good. Like, it makes sense. People don't need... The cinemas aren't necessary anymore. It almost feels nostalgic to go to the cinema. More so than it does feel necessary.
Right. Yeah, it's the same as a theatre with a play, right?
Yeah.
It's a different experience to go to the cinema than it is to watch it at home.
Yeah.
The same as it's a different experience to go to see a play rather than watch the film adaptation of that play.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I think it would still be there, but it's a bold move to tell... like the film companies, oh yeah, we're just not going to show your films anymore because you're just going to stream it. Because what are they going to say?
Yeah.
Right then, we'll stream it.
All right, then. Well, we'll make all the profit.
Yeah, it felt like that was a weird nail in their own coffin.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is what the rest of them are going to do. There'll still be cinemas for big events, I guess, but they'll be much rarer, I guess.
We're not going to show it at the cinema. We're just going to send it straight to the people. Well, we won't let you show it at our cinema.
All right.
All right then.
Seems fair. You know,
Yeah. Well, if you're happy, I'm
assuming.
happy.
It's not me, it's you. It's not you, it's me. I don't know.
Yeah.
One of those. But yeah, part of me feels like it's going to be strange to, if there's still cinemas that exist, go to the cinema, go to a restaurant.
I think
that kind of thing,
it's
and
kind
just
of
be surrounded by those people.
It's just kind of a dying model. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Like they for years they made their money on popcorn. That's why the shit's so expensive.
Yeah.
Like.
But it's more kind of like a tradition. It's a whole event to go to cinema, I think. So
Yeah.
Just been kept alive by that. And if there's suddenly going to be not as many films there, I mean, they can still do stuff for the hardcore hobbyists of like, I think, what was it? Was it Empire did it, or some? I think Cineworld maybe started playing like old films.
Well, that's the thing.
Like Jurassic Park.
You know, that's what cinemas used to be. Like it used to be like a curated experience. Like when you had when it was in the 50s and the 60s and that, like stuff didn't show up on TV. Like a film would be in the cinema, and then that was it. That was your chance to see that film, and now it's gone until they decide to play it again. And then but all the independent theatres, they have programs. They have programmers that program an entire season of theatre, and some of it will be brand new stuff, but a lot of it will be stuff that's been played before, and it all sits within a theme, and it's all this.
What was that old Alfred Hitchcock thing when he made Psycho? I think it was Psycho, or one of his early films. Cinemas didn't have start times. Like you just kind of walked in and out as you wanted.
Yeah.
And it was kind of something that was in the background. And then because Hitchcock was such a twat or whatever, I don't know, it was like you need to sit down and watch. You need to see the beginning. You need to see the end. You need to sit through the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was the tale we were told at school anyway. So it's gone through different evolutions.
But that kind,
feels like
the thing, like that kind of cinema is still popular. There's a bunch of like independent programmers who'll put on nights like just in town, like our local town hall puts one on. Like they do like a whole season of it, of opening up like once or twice a week and showing a film, and they give you a big list of like, here's what's playing and here's when, and every single time it's sold out, every single time, and it's still like 10-12 quid to get in, and it's a film that's been on TV, but it is that whole thing of like, well, we get to sit amongst people that we know and watch it on a big screen with a good sound system and all of that stuff. Like, I think the novelty of being able to do that with old films is cool. Like, to experience those films in an environment that you haven't seen them in, like, it makes sense. And I think if these change decided to switch more to that, of showing stuff that, like, because a lot of them have been playing stuff that's more exclusive to them, like doing like live concerts and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of model works. That's interesting. That's not a luxury, but it's different.
Same with the World Cup and Olympics as well. They do like live events.
Yeah. You've got to. I think it's almost like but it's almost like going to a gig. You need to give an audience a sense of, oh, I don't want to miss out on this. This opportunity might not come round again. And you don't have that from if you're just playing the same film that everybody else is playing, and that same film is going to be out on DVD in a month's time or whatever. Like it doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah, but at that point, when it comes to like a new film that's come out, it's just they'll play it until people aren't paying to go see it anymore. So they're just going to have to play it in that schedule, and then once everybody's seen it, they'll stop playing it.
Yeah.
So then they'll just do something different with it, I guess. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. This feels like a really strong step in the wrong direction for cinemas.
It's a stupid thing to say. Like it seems like a very dumb thing to do business wise, because there would have been people that would have come to see the film if you said,
but it's the same
we're
thing.
going to play it here for a week and that's it.
Yeah, but then I guess the asbestos companies were kind of in the same thing, weren't they? They were like, we love selling asbestos cigarettes. Like, asbestos is never going to go out of fashion.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, black lung or whatever.
Yeah.
And did that. But yeah, there's part of me. So yeah, my point was, there's part of me that's looking forward to going out and doing normal things around a community of people. So there's part of me that's missed that for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know whether you would It's important to note what's changed because of all this that's gone on. I mean, all the natural phenomena that have happened, and just what was that? That was like the water turning clear. Jellyfish are in the Vienna canals.
Yeah.
Monkeys are terrorizing Thailand.
That's the thing I like.
It is.
I like the idea of like of it being like living in California or something, and it being a thing of like, well, don't go outside straight away because there might be a mountain lion.
Yeah.
Or like somewhere else, there
like
could be a bear. So don't go out straight away. There's fucking coyotes like roaming around and shit.
Yeah,
like
it's definitely a jolt to the system.
Yeah,
I think as well as like people taking a lot of stuff for granted, like socializing, like being outside, and then suddenly they're inside for 6 weeks and they're being forced to.
Yeah,
should hopefully evoke a nicer message when they go out into the world. Although there's people still going out and ignoring lockdown and stuff and.
It feels like round here. I don't know how it is round you. Round here, it seems like things are getting busier again. Traffic and more people out and about and everything. I think people are just getting antsy and saying "fuck it" anyway and just going out.
Yeah, I haven't noticed anything different.
The thing is, if everybody does it, the police can't do anything. There's too many people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
But yeah, we'll see. And then there's a whole different way you can interpret this. I know people are still saying like, this whole thing isn't that bad. The flu kills more people. It's like, well, that's an argument that's completely unrelated. You can have that discussion. That's a perfectly sort of normal thing to discuss about how deadly this pandemic has been. But trying to compare the two to try and give your unique perspective about how this has actually all been really fine and overreaction. You go like, I don't think it was an overreaction if there was 1,000 people dying every single day. I think that seems like if 1,000 people are dying every single day by something that's being spread, if you stand within 2 meters of each other, it doesn't seem like an overreaction to get people to stand 2 meters away from each other.
Yeah.
For a little bit, in the grand scheme of things, 2 months, something like that. I can't remember where we are.
It's just I like to think I'm like well read on certain like scientific subjects and things like that, but I'm not a fucking idiot. Like I know I'm no expert on anything, but trying to convince other people that they're not medical experts and that their mate Dave doesn't have the answer, is difficult, man. Because no one wants to admit that they're stupid.
Yeah, it's good to question. It's good to ask questions and to question the situation you're in. But like, there's a period of everyone's life where they go through challenging absolutely everything for the sake of challenging absolutely everything and carrying it through. Same thing as, like I said before, I think really black and white about pretty much everything. There was a conversation recently about, I was watching about abortion. And I just think about it in a very black and white way. But I think everyone looks at all these kind of subjects as if, like COVID, like abortion, like all this, that there's one answer. And there's just one answer, and we need to find out what that answer is. And when we find that answer,
everyone will be happy.
We're done. Yeah, we can just move on. Like, when is a fetus become a baby? There must be a point. You go like, no, there's no exact specific point that anyone can agree on. So how about we just say, if it's inside you, then it's a fetus, and if it's outside, it's a baby. Yeah, but then you're killing something inside. Yeah, you are. You're completely right. You are. It's not nice. But in terms of understanding,
in terms of the law,
logistics of it,
like
you go like murder. Murder isn't the answer to murder is not by definition a bad thing. There are loads of people who love murder. There's loads of people who dislike murder. Depends on the murder. Same with rape. Same with assault. Same with everything. It's not that all murder is unanimously wrong and bad. If somebody murders if a non-serial killer murders a serial killer, there's less killing, right? So that's a good murder.
Yeah.
So the same thing with abortion. It's just.
I might be wrong.
We've defined it as something.
I think the rape one is pretty unanimous.
No, because depending on the context about how you define rape, everyone's going to define rape in a different way. There was an argument that if you say someone's name with the wrong inflection, then you're somehow sexually assaulting them, and therefore all sexual assault is rape.
In that context, that makes sense.
I wish I took a photo of it, but a long time ago, I did look into the police definition, the UK police definition of rape, and it happened to be, I think, only applicable to. First degree rape was only applicable to women, and second degree rape was maybe applicable to men. So even within the definitions of it, it varies depending on the context.
Yeah.
So it's not unanimous. It's like, this is not going to be always going to be right. Same as kissing an unconscious woman is rape always. You go, maybe not.
It's not appropriate.
The definition is penetrative
rape.
sex. Exactly, but it depends on depends on your definition. So you just go, same with abortion. There is one definition of what it is, and that doesn't mean that all instances of it are good and all instances are bad. You just go, well, that's where the line's drawn. It's drawn at birth. Yeah, but, conception, yeah, I understand. But in terms of working with this in a practical sense, you have to accept that, yes, there's going to be some pregnancies that are terminated that are going to be bad and people are going to be upset. It's going to be the wrong decision, but it's going to be a legal decision. I don't understand. I don't know. That's a whole complex issue that probably needs a lot more thinking about.
Yeah.
But my point was that there's always like a clear line in the sand, and just because that line is drawn doesn't mean that one side is right and one side is wrong of that line. Just go. It's just a practicality thing of this is when killing becomes murder. This is when murder becomes manslaughter. It doesn't mean that there's lines in the sand of what these different meanings are. Doesn't mean that it's a good or a bad thing, and that all manslaughter is better than murder. Well, it doesn't. You don't know. It's a whole complicated issue. Don't know how the hell I got on there.
No, I can't remember where it started.
An idea that was bubbling around for a little bit.
Got any news?
Let's look. Yeah, let's change the subject, shall we? I've got a tab open. Who are my parents, and why was I left on a hillside to die?
Is this a questionnaire?
It's
a Facebook quiz.
It's because of another article that I've got later on. It linked onto that one. Fair enough. I found an interesting article this week. A female llama hidden at a secret location in Belgium could hold the key to conquering the coronavirus pandemic. Oh, that's good news, isn't it?
Female llama?
Yeah, there's a llama in Belgium in a secret location that could be the cure. We tried Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I don't know what the results were on that, but now we're on llamas.
Tried Tom Hanks, tried his wife.
Winter.
Now we're trying a llama.
And it's that evolution of man. But it goes from Tom Hanks to llama. The llama, which is called Winter, is central part of a vital research undertaken by US and Belgian scientists. She's healthy and she's about 5 years old, said Dr. Bert Schepens of Ghent. Researchers are declining to reveal information about the animal's whereabouts. We'd like to keep her as anonymous as possible to prevent anything happening to her.
Anonymous llama?
Yeah, it's a secret llama in a secret location with the secret cure to a global pandemic. They've identified a tiny particle that appears to block the deadly virus. The potential vaccine could also prevent the condition of people with the virus from worsening, if the research proves successful. It then goes on to say, if you'd like to continue reading, please subscribe to The Telegraph for £3 a week. Oh. So if you want to know anything else about this world-saving, coronavirus-defeating, secret Belgian llama, you've got to pay £3 a week.
You see, the llama only speaks to friendly papers, so...
Yeah, well, you've got to keep everything in mind a paywall, you know what I mean? You don't want everyone learning about that everything's going to be fine and that this llama's going to save the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, something, a llama could save us all.
I'm sure if it's important, it'll be out. Like, it's not going to remain behind a paywall forever.
We found the cure, and we're only going to give it to official Telegraph subscribers. So that's how we're going to measure it. But yeah, who knew? I thought it was weird that Tom Hanks could save us. It could be that a llama could save us. Elsewhere in the news, a woman who dug up an unexploded World War II bomb in her garden said she threw it across the lawn for her dog before she realised what it was.
Oh my God. Oh, that could have ended so differently.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just fucking digging.
The possibilities.
Just seems so harsh. Lulu Cirillo, 49, was gardening at her home in Weymouth when her spade struck a bomb 10 inches below the earth. She thought it was a big stone and took it inside before taking it to Facebook and asked people what they thought it was. The bomb was detonated on the beach about 9 p.m. last Saturday. She said she dug it up. She thought that she could play fetch with her dog with it, might want to play with it. She threw it. It was muddy. And then she took it into her kitchen to clean it with a Brillo pad. Just to... Just a 49-year-old woman scrubbing a bomb with a Brillo pad to try and get a better idea of what it was. Then she posted it on Facebook, and Facebook told her, "That's a bomb." So she called the police.
Why? What? Like, I maybe I have kind of a cartoony idea of what a bomb looks like, but it doesn't seem like something that you'd be like, I could play fetch with that. Yeah. A big clump of metal.
Well, yeah, but it's going to have, like, you know, loads of mud attached to it.
I thought it was an ancient Nerf.
But even like from the 40s, it's going to be like, oh, it's going to be somewhat like rusty, and you're not really going to see it. You could, to decipher that from another piece of rusty metal, I think you could probably say, I don't know, could be anything. Could be a bit of a Spitfire. Could be a bit of
it's a bit of rusty metal. Why are you throwing it at your dog?
Well, you know, dogs. I don't know, maybe the dog's a metal detector. I don't know. But just right, I think we always forget, even though it pops up at least once or twice a year, that there's just unexploded bombs in England everywhere.
Yeah.
Just lying around that people were mistaken for tennis balls or whatever. Mistaken for squeaky toys or whatever.
It feels like a scene from Three Lions.
Yeah, pretty much. But just cleaning it in your kitchen. I better get this bomb clean. And anyway, so that's all from me for the news this week. Got some audience participation stuff. Yeah, so apparently, well, this is the article from The Guardian. The Red Cross has told the BBC that it wants military-themed video games to adhere to real-life international law. This is the Red Cross. They want games where you shoot a civilian to result in some kind of military police imprisonment, some kind of consequence to discourage. There's been loads of this recently about violent video games cause high school shootings and all that kind of stuff. And they're saying that video games that represent contemporary battlefields are very close to reality, he said. This is someone from the Red Cross. It's difficult to make out the difference between real footage and the footage you get from video games. What the Red Cross wants to see, then, is the player being penalised for carrying out such actions as willfully killing civilians or torturing enemy combatants.
You have been dishonourably discharged. Game over.
It just seems it's the same argument as violent video games cause shootings. You just go like, there's no science behind this at all.
That's like,
what are you trying to do?
Yeah, but it's like in like fucking Minecraft or something. It's like you don't actually have to get a shovel and dig up your living room. That's the point.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Again, it's just reacting to something with good intentions, but just completely misfiring.
Yeah.
I mean, when you play Tetris, I don't know, is there some kind of international law about descending blocks of different shapes from the sky?
Have you got planning permission for that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's definitely higher than 2 meters.
I can understand how somebody who's been not desensitized suddenly watching something that is meant for people who are already desensitized. I mean, I know people who still can't watch Casualty because it's got blood in it.
Yeah.
I know people who like see things of gore and swear words. People are still like shocked when people says a swear word. It's like there's different spectrums of people, and I can understand how one spectrum might not be able to see the other spectrum's perspective. But the answer to that is not try to control their perspective.
No.
Just go, look, this is just, it's a game that has been accepted to be outside of reality, and therefore different things have been suspended. And then that implies that no innocent people are ever killed, because there's an international law.
Yeah.
No, there's international law, and that law still gets broken. It doesn't mean that, it doesn't magically suddenly make the world a better place. Just means you should have some kind of moral compass. And if you're playing a video game, I'm not sure whether that's going to affect your moral compass all that much.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it says the ICRC, which is the International Centre for Red Cross or something, is suggesting that, as in real life, these games should include virtual consequences for people's actions and decisions. Gamers should be rewarded for respecting the law of armed conflict, and should therefore be given virtual penalties for serious violations of the law. In other words, war crimes. Our intention is not to spoil the player's enjoyment by, for example, interrupting the game with pop-up messages listing legal provisions or lecturing gamers on the law of armed conflict. We'd like to see the law of armed conflict integrated into games so that players have a realistic experience and deal firsthand with the dilemmas of facing real combatants and real battlefields.
But is the whole point of it to be realistic? Because if not, then don't.
Yeah. Well, again, even if there is an element of being realistic, all that means is it's being a more accurate simulation.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually happening.
Well, that's the thing. But, like, the games that they're on about never claim to be a simulation. Like, the fact that something looks realistic doesn't mean that contextually it is realistic. It's not like a city building game or something where you're like, well, the taxes in this situation aren't exactly realistic, so we can tweak that and people might enjoy it more, because they would, because that's what they bought the game for.
But there are military simulators where you do, everything is done to be as simulated as possible when it comes to every aspect. I've played a few of those and they've been great fun.
I don't think that's what they're talking about, though. I think they're thinking of like Call of Duty and fucking...
Maybe, yeah. Well, even if it was to extend the olive branch of, hey, how about really realistic military simulators? Stuff like, armour and stuff like that. You just go like, well, you do get... You're trying to change game design. The Red Cross is trying to edit game design of game designers in order to kind of set up some kind of moral lesson. Yeah. It just seems like you're going about the wrong thing in the wrong way.
And there
what
are
you're worried about is
plenty
war
of
crimes.
games that in which you act as a character or as an overlord if you're doing like armies and whatever, in which your moral compass is swayed one way or the other throughout the game based on the decisions that you make. So they're not suggesting anything revolutionary. They just want it in the context of what they do for a living, as opposed to, like, whatever else.
And again, if it's a story being told, that story could well be being told outside of the law. It could be an outlaw's story that's being told. It could be an experience that you've had that stepped outside the law, but gave you a greater understanding of life. It doesn't have to be within these constraints, and if everybody started obeying the law, everything would be fine. It's just it's another kind of control thing. It's just people who aren't desensitized to these video games, seeing them and being like, that guy thinks he's actually killing somebody. No, it's just a game, mate. Chill out. Anyway, in other news, from the audience, in Geneva, or Genevra, I believe some people might call it, a Geneva-based private investigator says the number of requests he has received from people wishing to spy on their neighbours has exploded because of lockdown. It went from being like 2 a year, where they wanted people to an investigator looking onto their neighbours, to 2 a week.
Okay.
Just like, I don't trust Terry. Can you look into it, please? All right. Christian Sideris, founder of Cyclop, said that he normally gets around 2 requests a year, but because of the virus, he's receiving 2 a week. We have a lot of these type of cases because people are confined and they're on top of each other every single day. One of them was from a guy saying his neighbour was talking too loudly on his phone. Investigate! Another came from a woman who was mad at the family downstairs for having a child playdate. He has rejected all but one case, which involved a father who was cheating on his wife with multiple mistresses, which is potentially spreading COVID-19. So it's that whole thing we said before about people grassing up people to the government, or just looking for something to moan about, someone to talk to, I guess. Yeah. The neighbours are playing music.
I think it becomes an issue, it becomes a point of contention when you are trying to do the right thing and you cannot abide by people willfully doing the wrong thing. So I kind of understand. You almost get jealous of the way that they flout the rules. Like, well, why can't I do that? When in reality, it's like, well, you can, but you're trying to have a moral head on you and not do it. I get pissed off at there's neighbours across the street from us who every Saturday night they have a load of people around and they have a big party, and I get fucking legit pissed off at it. And not because I care for any of their fucking health. It's like, do what you want. But there is a sense of jealousy about it, which is like, well, I can't do that, and you shouldn't be doing that, and like it's irritating. But I wouldn't report them. Like it is what it is. People are going to be fucking stupid. I just have to.
Why can't you do that? Like the rationalization in your head of you're jealous of them doing it because you can't.
Basically, I can't bring myself to flout the rules like that. Basically.
Well, you're growing radishes. I mean, that's got to be illegal, right?
I'm not breaking any rules. There's too many radishes here.
Are you staying 2 meters away from these radishes at all times?
Those radishes aren't 2 meters apart.
Yeah, exactly.
My garden's not that big.
I mean, so because you feel like you rigidly obey the rules, that somebody breaking them, you feel like there's part of you that wishes you were able to do that?
A little bit, and it's weird because it's not something that I feel with people that like break the law. Like if someone robs a place, there's no part of me that's like, I wish I could rob a place.
Yeah, jealous of that bank robber.
Like it's a different kind of pissed off.
It's that kind of like putting salt and vinegar in soup. Like someone does that. Oh, you're not meant to put vinegar in soup. I don't know. You're probably not, right? I wish I could do that.
Yeah,
guys, the guy's beyond soup. Rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. I don't know. I've never quite. But again, black and white thinking. I just go. Most people. I've gone from 80% of people are idiots to everybody is an idiot.
Yeah.
You just have to accept.
Everyone's
that,
got blind
you
spots.
Can't expect everyone.
Everyone, like that's it.
Yeah. Just go, well, I can't control what that person was doing. They're an idiot. I'm an idiot, and I shouldn't try and do that. Apparently, elsewhere in America, in DC, a guy said his neighbour called the police on him for lifting weights in his front garden. Well, that's I don't know.
Wish I could lift weights in my front garden.
I've been doing it in my back garden. I can do it in my front garden.
There's
got to be breaking.
There's nothing actually wrong with that, is there? Like, you're allowed to lift weights on your property.
Well, I guess someone walking past your front garden might be within.
Oh, fuck off! It's my front garden. Go fuck yourself. I can stand on my drive.
And in California, people have been alerting authorities if they hear neighbours coughing or sneezing indoors. Call the police! Well, I don't know. I think it's everyone just misunderstanding everything that's going on, right? I mean, and the idea is everybody's meant to get sick. It's just not at the same time.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to be coughing and sneezing at some point. Shut the fuck up and chill out.
Yeah. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, so that's the Ginevra stuff. I do have a long story. I'm trying to remember about that time, and I did go on quite a rant about abortion that could probably be cut out, so why not add a little bit more with a long story? And you go, abortion! I've got a long story here that I just thought was funny, but I don't know if it is. I just found it inherently funny for very small parts. I'll go through it very quickly. It's like 3 pages. But basically, Paul Fronzak was 10 when he went hunting for Christmas presents in his parents' basement. He pushed aside a sofa, found a crawl space, and he discovered 3 mysterious boxes full of letters, sympathy cards, and newspaper clippings. Oh, isn't that lovely? One headline read, 200 are searching for the stolen baby. Another read, Mother asks her kidnapper to return the baby. He recognised his parents in the pictures, looking distraught and much younger. Then he read that the baby was him. Wow! Wow, that's me, he thought. It was a sensational tale. On the 26th of April 1964, his mother, Dora Fronzak, I think that's how you pronounce it, F-O-R-N-C-Z-A-K, had given birth to a baby boy in the Michael Reese Hospital in Chicago. She nursed the baby throughout the day, then when he wasn't sleeping with the other babies in the nursery, but the following morning, a woman dressed as a nurse just came into her room, took the baby to be examined by a doctor, and just never returned. So just her baby was just taken by somebody dressed up as a nurse. The largest manhunt in Chicago's history was then launched, involving 175,000 postmen. All right. It's I don't know, it's the 50s. Send the postman out. Not a figure I imagined. I mean, I guess, you should use the postal service to find your baby, right? They're out on the streets already.
But it used to be the milk carton thing, didn't it? Put the face on the milk carton.
Yeah.
Put the face on the postman.
From milk cartons to postman to the police. Also 200 police officers and the FBI, but 175,000 postal workers. They searched houses, but they didn't find anybody. So Paul, the little 10-year-old who found the pictures of his kidnapped newspaper clippings, ran upstairs with a handful of clippings to ask his mother if they were about him. His mother reacted angrily, telling him off for snooping. Then she admitted, yes, you were kidnapped, we found you, we love you, and that's all you need to know. The mum
Get over it.
Off that, yeah, for God's
We
sake, you're
did.
not that special, all right? We found you, we love you, you were kidnapped, now fuck off. But the story goes deeper. He didn't bring up the subject for 40 years. But after 40 years, he still wasn't satisfied, and he went back into the crawl space to look for more. So the baby. So this goes all to Pulp Fiction, right? So back when the baby was kidnapped, 2 years after the kidnap, Dora and Chester received a letter from the FBI saying a toddler had been found in New Jersey who matched their son's description. The FBI began to test the hunch that it was the child they were missing. But there wasn't much to go on. There was no record of their blood type, nor had the hospital taken the baby's fingerprints or the footprints. All they had was a photo. You were a baby, right? Yeah. Well, we found it. We found him. We found it. Apparently, the only unique identifier was the ear of the baby in the photo looked like the ear of the baby in New Jersey, and so they found that baby. They ended up testing over 10,000 boys that could possibly be Paul, and I was the only one that they couldn't fully exclude. So I guess he had a fucked up ear. Back then, the FBI was the elite authority, and when they tell you something, you believe it. So the FBI just told this woman and her husband, we found your baby, this is your baby, we've got no evidence for it, but look at that fucked up ear. Right? And just kind of, there you go. And she felt peer pressured into accepting it as their child.
Wow.
Because it was a national news story.
Yeah.
Like all cameras were pointed at her. She said she could either say I'm not sure and put this child back into the system, or say yes, that's my son, even if it wasn't, to save this child what could be a horrible life. I'm assuming an orphaned life, you know.
Christ.
I might as well just cut the losses, and this is Paul now, I guess. And if he ever brings it up, I'll tell him to shut the fuck up.
So she was never convinced that he was the right one.
The story does go on a lot longer, but I'll sum up a little bit. The parents were, in the end, quite loving parents, if a little overprotective, because, you got kidnapped once.
Lost the first one. Paul 2.0.
Oh, new Paul. All right, well, I guess it doesn't matter as much if we lose him,
Yeah.
but people will talk. They were loving parents. Paul was sent to a Catholic school with a strict dress code, but he grew up loving rock and roll and long hair. Once, during a heated argument over the length of his hair, his mother said, I wish they'd never found you. So...
No hints, no clues. Like, don't you mean you wish I was never born? Well,
that's
technically I don't know that you were born.
I don't know who the fuck you are, Gareth, or whatever it is. But just that level of thin ice. Mum, I'm thinking about growing my hair long. I wish they'd never fucking found you. The article does go on. Basically, he asked his parents if they'd ever, when he was older, have you ever wondered if I'm actually your son? Should we find out? They did, Ancestry.com or whatever DNA thing. The parents changed their minds and said, no, we don't need to. You're our son. We don't need to question that at all. So, you're our son to us. But he ignored them and got them done anyway. He got a phone call about the results. After answering some security questions, he was told there's no remote possibility that he was Paul. We've looked at the science. You're not Paul, okay? No matter what you think, your blood's not Paul's blood, okay? He said, everything I thought I knew about myself, my birthday, my medical history, being Polish, being
Paul.
Catholic, even being a Taurus, went out the window. I'm not a Taurus anymore.
That's such a Sagittarian thing to do.
Yeah, he got a phone call from one of the investigators who was looking into who he really was. And investigator C.C. Moore rang him on the phone and said, what do you think of the name Jack? She asked. He said, oh, it's quite a nice name. It's a strong name. It's a good name. She said, well, that's your name. That's how we found out he was actually Jack Rosenthal. And that he was 6 months older than he thought. Do you like the name Jack? Yeah, well, you're Jack. Oh, okay.
All right.
Just been given another identity in a really laissez-faire way. Twice in one lifetime. Well, that's your name. I think coincidentally he now has the same birthday as his mother, like the adopted mother. So, hey, I got a new birthday now. Fair enough. But it's quite tragic news, really. He found out, which I guess makes sense, he was an abandoned baby. You know, police found him in a park. Apparently he had a sister who's also missing, and like an alcoholic mother and a war PTSD'd father from Korea. So he found out he was a part of another family, a much worse, much more traumatized family. Hooray! And he gets to lose his ability to be a Taurus.
Ugh.
So anyway, now he's going on a mission to exhume the body of his lost sister, assuming she's dead. And try and find the new guy, the actual Paul, the real Paul.
Dead Paul.
Try and find him. Yeah, he's probably dead. And he's going to give him his birth certificate if he finds him. With some kind of weird gesture. Well, I'm no longer born, and you're now Paul. The FBI, if you're interested, decided not to comment on this.
Yeah, pretty bad
Gonna
press.
slowly put down the phone. This is a weird... Why are you calling us?
Who was that? Paul. Jack.
Yeah,
Paul.
Yeah, something about, I don't know. Go to that woman's house who was creating a bomb, unexploded bomb with a Brillo pad.
Oh, it's Paul with a weird ear.
Yeah. But yeah, that's me this week.
Ah.
Yeah, weird, long, winding story about a guy whose mother didn't want to talk to
A
her.
guy who isn't Paul.
Yeah, you were kidnapped. Shut up. All right, fine. Move on.
All right, I've got a few things. When you go shopping, are a lot of people wearing masks and shit like that?
No.
No, I don't think it's been much of a thing over here, but I think in the States it's like really like kicked off, and like if you can't find a mask, you have to make your own and do some kind of face covering thing. It's become like a social.
I've seen, like, if I'm on the way to a supermarket, there might be one person on the street that I see
You catch
wearing
the
a
odd
mask.
one or
That's
two
about
people, but it's not like but in the States, it's like everyone's wearing a mask now, even though they don't do anything and no one's really been told to. Anyway, this guy went to his supermarket in his KKK hood.
Oh yeah. Hey, it keeps people at bay. You know.
It does, yeah.
I don't get
Talking
many
about
hugs in
fucking
this.
social distancing. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, laundry day.
He was
I
asked to
guess.
remove it, and he said no, which is fair enough.
I'm going to assume you think of me to have quite strong beliefs. I don't believe in taking off my hood.
Yeah. If you leave the house in it, you've got to keep it on until you get back. Like like it's fucking public suicide if you take it off.
Yeah. Even if it was for a laugh, it's again that weird. Well, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
What mask can you wear? What mask can you not?
It was Dave the IT guy all along. Yeah, I'm a racist.
Is that Plague Doctor? He's just got a different outfit this week. He's just trying to spice things up. And it's just like, oh dear. Oh no.
There's two more coronavirus bits and then the other's not coronavirus. Upon requesting coronavirus supplies, a Native American health center was sent a large quantity of body bags. Instead of masks and gloves. Can we have some stuff to help us deal with coronavirus? Yeah, here's some body
plastic
bags.
Oh, body bags.
Yeah.
I thought you said money bags.
No.
Like there's little pouches for coins.
No.
No, fuck me. We have every faith in you. Go forth. At least it wasn't itchy blankets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was body bags. We're optimistic about the future.
It's a bit grim. Yeah. It sends somewhat of a chill down you. Like, oh, here they come. Here are the masks. Here are the gloves. Finally, we can start healing these people. Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Well, thanks, I guess.
I guess. And they've sent them more. Like...
What's that? You want more? We want
more supplies? Have you gone through those already?
We sent you the body bags. Yeah. But the masks, guys. The masks, the food, the rations, whatever. Please.
We wouldn't need these if you sent us the other stuff.
Just give up, basically.
Yeah.
Give up in a post.
Last bit of coronavirus stuff. This one from Russia. To survive the coronavirus lockdown, Russia has recommended staying angry at your family for less than 10 minutes.
Ding, 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 ding.
A guide on surviving lockdown published by Russia's health ministry. It states it's permissible to be angry at other family members, but not for more than 3 to 10 minutes. The guide says after that, you should forgive the other person, which is fair.
Okay. Good advice.
Yeah.
Just between 3 and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not even like... That's not even like a measurable window. It's like either between 0 and 10 minutes, be angry.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
This is the same paper from the health ministry that also suggested that in order to lower domestic violence, that wives should just do what their husbands tell them to do. From the government.
Just put simply, stop. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Other news. False alarm alert. The 6-foot alligator spotted in Brampton, Ontario, turned out to be a beaver. So that's good.
Thank God. This massive 6-foot beast won't bite you to death, but its tail could crush your skull.
Yeah.
Giant man-sized beavers are roaming. Oh! Thank God. They eat trees, right? Oh, yeah.
It was caught on video by this girl. She was just like, oh my God, it's an alligator. And you watch the video and it's like, that's a beaver. That's definitely a beaver. It's not 6 foot long, it's just a beaver.
Oh, okay.
But it was in the water, so maybe she'd never seen a beaver before, I guess. Or she'd seen some really fucking weird looking alligators.
Fur, scales, leathery, whatever. It should
Yeah, but they had to shut the area down while they looked for it before they'd watched the video. And they'd been like, no, that's a fucking beaver, you idiot.
Someone's reported a 6-foot tall beaver roaming the... Close it down! We can't let this get out! The size of a fucking polar bear.
A 5-year-old has been pulled over by police on his way to California trying to buy a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Apparently he got in some argument with his mum and then pissed and stormed out of the house and stole her car.
Screw you, I'm buying a Lamborghini. Yeah. Why can't you buy one here? No, I'm going to California.
Yeah, just driving to California with $3 to buy a Lamborghini. Very optimistic 5-year-old. I understand. I have money, you have car. This is how it works.
I mowed 3 gardens to get this. I think that's worth a Lamborghini. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've done my day's work.
Hang on, this is all my pocket money and you're saying it's not enough?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a weird business model you've got over there, Lamborghini.
And finally, in more alligator news, although this was actually an alligator, a 57-year-old Cynthia Covert died on Tuesday after being dragged underwater by an alligator while trying to take a photo with it. Her husband warned her that an alligator in the area had taken down a deer recently, to which she responded, "Well, I don't look like a deer."
All right, honey.
All right.
Have fun. I'm not a deer, Leonard. All right. See if I can.
Yeah. As she reached out to touch the alligator.
Yeah.
Why? It grabbed her leg, and as her neighbours ran over with a rope to try and pull her to safety, Cynthia very calmly, she described as very calmly, said, "Well, I guess I won't do this again." Before the alligator rolled and dragged her underwater.
It's gone.
Well, oh bother.
Well, okay, I guess I've made a mistake. Gone. I guess I do look like a deer. I guess just can't underestimate my own, gamey features.
Oh, just the slightest bit of easing of lockdown measures, and suddenly people start dying in stupid ways again. It's amazing.
Yeah, people climbing telephone poles, probably.
Yeah.
No, so I think that they said they're going to ease up on the sunbathing rules.
There are sunbathing rules?
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is like going to beaches to sunbathe or going to specific locations.
You
can still sunbathe outside if you want to go in your garden.
There's a lot of places where they closed
park.
Public places and things in the States, like they closed the beaches and shit.
It is weird that people are protesting it, and it does seem strange. Because there's part of you that does desperately want those people to suffer uncontrollably. Like for everybody who protested, for them all to get infected and lose.
Yeah.
But that's just like that's that whole, what you were talking about like you obeying the rules and wanting the people who are breaking the rules to have their comeuppance.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's that kind of thing. But I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things that's going to be weird how it's going to be reported. There's going to be films made about this horrible mess. That's it. Horrible messes, and it's not the government. It's just this horrible situation of lots of people isolated.
Yeah. Well, we've had outbreak, we've had pandemic, we've had these movies.
Yeah, but this is the one that's closest to a movie, and because when this all happened, people are still in denial about it.
Yeah.
There are still people planning holidays, planning business trips, planning outings.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, what if this happens? No, that only happens in the movies. It's like, well, it's kind of happened exactly as it did in some of the movies.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's a conspiracy. It just means that it's, this is how logically things could have gone.
It just seems like a very dull film.
Yeah.
Like it is.
But it's got to be built to address what happened.
Yeah. It is definitely a surreal time to be around. But
yeah.
I don't think it's dramatic.
No, it's only as dramatic as you can get if you're locked in a house.
Yeah.
But then again, I can't remember who's Deadpool. I can't remember his name.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, there you go. He did Buried. I think, was it Buried? A film that took place entirely inside a coffin.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen that.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was like a guy who was buried alive, and the whole film was from him being buried alive from the beginning. So you kind of got to experience all that, and they made that quite dramatic. That was quite well done. So maybe they could do the same with self-isolation.
Maybe.
You still have some sport. You
Phone
still play
booth?
tennis.
That was the thing where he was in a phone booth the whole time. Was that?
Oh yeah, but the one that was a weird one because I think that was the only 45-minute film I've ever seen.
Oh, what was the Danny Boyle one? Where he was trapped in the rocks.
Oh, 127 hours. Yeah, but to be fair, only I'd say from memory, only about 50% of that film happened with him by the rocks.
Did it?
That was quite funny though. Yeah, there was all like the before, and I think there was like the search party or the non-search party or whatever. But there was less of him being in the rocks that I remember. But my memory could just be bad.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
It was a good film though.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
Vix refuses to watch it. She's never seen it. I said, it's a good film. You should watch it. She's like, no, never. Ever. And like, I've suggested it so many times now that she just won't, out of spite.
Okay. Why? Because of gore?
No. She just doesn't like the concept of it. So, like, no, it'll be...
Self-mutilation.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird sticking point with her. Like, to the point where she legitimately gets angry about it now.
Okay. Marriage.
Yeah.
Unconditional anger about random things. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, still regular stuff going on. Still lockdowny stuff going on.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with these. This lockdown easement, but it's not going to be anything crazy. It's like, well, instead of 6 people at every funeral, you can now have 7.
Ooh.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe we can.
Now
do
we can
something like
invite the one that died.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Bring their spirit in with us. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything big. It's just going to be not going to be like, oh, now you can go to the gym, or now you can go out this. Now they'll be like, well, now you can go out twice a day, or no, you can already go out. Loads of people are confused about these rules, but from what I've read, you're able to go out and exercise once a day, and you're able to go to the shops once a day every 3 days. So that's you're meant to do your 3-day shop when you go out once a day for your food shop. So you should only need to go to the shop twice a week.
I didn't know about this at all. I go to the shop pretty much every day.
Yeah. Like I say, nobody's obeying these rules to the letter. They're just being like, well, I'm staying at home.
Yeah.
So all the easements are probably going to be things that everybody's already doing.
Yeah.
I think unlimited exercise was one thing that was broached as like, be careful with that. Don't want people walking outside twice a day or 3 times a day or whatever.
Well, no, to be fair, I go to the shop, if not every day, then every other day. But I don't do the daily exercise thing. So maybe my walk to the shop counts.
No, because you're socially building around other people, aren't you?
I don't care.
You are the problem. Yeah, I know, but you're what's the wrong with the world. So
right.
That's what they're trying to do, is protect the world, and you're going, you know what, fuck you. I'm gonna spread it as much as I can.
I see.
I've seen lots of people cough on people, but I've never been coughed on. I don't know what that says about my place and my community.
That you don't really go outside?
Not enough to get coughed on.
No, I haven't been coughed on. Another guy where I work has been.
Yeah, there's just there's a shop near me that like is run by a family, and the family just has a few chromosomes missing, I think, or a few brain cells missing, and so like they're behind cling film, but they'll cough into the money that they're handing you back.
Yeah.
And like, but there's a load of other weird things going on with it. But they're nice people. It's just it's never happened to me. For some reason, I've commanded the respect of not being coughed on.
Yeah.
Little victories.
Yeah.
I may be going out of my mind, but I'm not being accosted by the community yet. That's good.
Yeah.
It's when the pitchforks start to arrive and the flaming torches. Burn the bald beard man. Maybe he'll save it. Forget the Belgian secret llama. Just burn him. Burn him because he's a horrible being. So I'm at next.
I'm at Sing It Steve.
Yeah, we're at Pulling Teeth Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and we're Pulling Teeth Podcast on Facebook.
Yeah, you can email us at wisdom@pullingteethpodcast.com with your stories and your weird videos and sound bites and any questions and anything else. And you can find everything that we do everywhere at pullingteethpodcast.com.
Yeah, and we're on YouTube.
Yeah,
so
watch
if you want
and
to help
subscribe
us out,
and
give us a
everything.
subscribe. Yeah. It's the best way to get through to us, I guess, is on that. But yeah, any of the things listed above. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure Steve will still go about breaching all the lockdown rules, like going to multiple shops multiple times and sneezing at everybody, as he always has been. And I'll just maintain in the dark void that is my existence right now.
Yeah. So
see you next week.